Hello, everybody! I hope you can all hear me okay. It's Dana. We are back for another year. Another path has been completed. We are finally in the promised land. I am so excited for everybody. Those of us that are expecting the updates tonight. Everybody in the chat, just please give me a heads up. Let me know the sound's good. All right, Juggernaut already gave it to me. All right, excellent. I have a special guest for everyone today. I have someone joining me tonight for the stream. She is DSEN's newest star. Everyone, please welcome my beautiful wife, Caitlin. Woo!
Hello, everybody.
All right, so we are going to go through things we should expect, stuff that happened today. I'm going to answer some questions in the chat. Let me just put up my banner here for people that come as we go. They can read this as we come up. And yeah, so we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to answer some questions. I'm going to try to make my wife laugh, which hopefully will make everyone else laugh too. And yeah, so let's get to it. So I have really a tremendous amount of slides to go over, which will answer a lot of questions in itself. But I did see something from a regular viewer I want to make sure I look at. Juggernaut looked at the transcript, had 150, 806, 766, and 768. And today he looked, it says 846 with 222 next to it. Am I done? You are done. Your refund, it will be dated for the 22nd, which is next Wednesday. There is a chance it could come sooner if you have a bank that posts deposits early. But if you have that 846 code on your transcript, you are fully processed and complete. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you can check Where's My Refund, and you will get that glorious, glorious 2 bars. So, okay. That question was answered. All right, I'm going to talk about what happened today. So, last night at about midnight, I just woke up and I had like a bunch of notifications on my phone. People contact me that they had seen updates on their transcripts already. So a bunch of the dailies last night. Remember, we say the dailies are those people with the cycle codes that are 01 through 04. And some weeklies, which I'm going to talk about, which are 05s, had transcript updates late last night into this morning, throughout the day. Saw that direct deposit date of 222, the 846 code. So all those people that got that 222 date, you will get the Where's My Refund update tomorrow morning. The Where's My Refund update will recur between 3 and 6 a.m. And I just want to check something right now. We have 35 people watching this stream right now, and yet I'm only showing 12 likes on my YouTube. Is that what you're seeing, Caitlin? Do you see 12 likes on that, or do you see more?
I see. Yep, 12 likes.
Yeah. I mean, you guys if you guys are watching this stream, you should definitely be liking it. Which is going to lead me to another little thing I got going on here. Before I go any further, I'd just like to thank the sponsor of tonight's live stream, 7-Eleven Select Water. It's great. It's refreshing. Okay. They offered me a contract, guys. They gave me a contract for $200,000. I am going to get $200,000 if I can get to 200 likes tonight. However, they did say that if I don't get to 200 likes, there's no money at all. They're just going to give me 1,000 bottles for every like I got. So if I get stuck at 12 likes, I'm going to get 12,000 bottles of water. What am I going to do with 12,000 bottles of water? Drink it. So yeah, thank you to 7-Eleven Select Ionized Hydration Water. It's so great. Okay.
Nice bit, hun. Okay. Anyway, you have
all right,
questions.
So we have questions. All right. Anywhere we should start, hun?
I hope I'm saying this right. Chucho Castro?
Okay. Let me see if I can find his question. This one here. I'm an 05er. Do you think my transcript will update tomorrow? I claim path. Chucho, question on your transcript. If you see any codes on there and you don't see the 570, which would be a bad code, but if you updated last week or the week before with anything on your transcript, like your credits, and there's a negative balance, there's a good chance you're going to see an update tomorrow. If your transcript has been up like NA all the way through this point and you're still NA, then you might get an update tomorrow, but there still might not be a refund on it yet. You might get pushed back another week. But if you already have those codes for the the credits, the 766, 768, you got those codes on there. There's a really strong possibility you'll get the update tomorrow. All right, so back to the slides. So remember, guys, I am on a delay here with the chat. I'm always a couple minutes behind on the chat, so I'll try to get to as many questions as I can. But sometimes you might have to ask a question. I might not see it right away because the streaming software I use does have a little bit of a delay. And just be mindful of some of the slides and information I'm going to be talking about will answer those questions. So the reason we're having this stream tonight, this is the first big, really big weekly filing batch update. This is going to be the biggest update pretty much of the tax season. Annually, this is the single biggest week of updates that occurs the whole entire tax cycle, because you have all those early filers that qualified for PATH, along with all the other filers that are weeklies coming in over the past couple weeks that are all due for an update. And it just makes for this giant, massive batch update that occurs the first week. And then the updates still come every week, but it's less and less every week as the tax season goes on. So there is always a big anticipation for this week. So last night people got some updates, and overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we are going to get some big updates. So if your transcript updates with the 846 code, overnight tonight into tomorrow, throughout the day tomorrow, you get that 846. Then on Saturday, you'll get the 2 bars. You're going to have a deposit date of February 23rd. That is on a Thursday. Now, I know I've told people often that the weekly batch updates get direct deposits on Wednesdays. However, because there's a holiday, there is a bank holiday on Monday, every deposit day is going to be off a little bit for the returns that got processed this week. They're going to get pushed back one day. So the date you'll get will be one day later because of the holiday next week than it normally would be. And then next week, it will go back to like a Friday update on Transcript equals a Saturday update on Where's My Refund equals a Wednesday direct deposit. But for the direct deposits that will come through tomorrow on the transcripts, it's going to be for the Thursday, the 23rd. So the transcript timeline. All the information from the batch file starts to transfer on Thursday night. So all the returns that had stuff done to them this week, whether they were actually fully processed or maybe the system decided they needed to be reviewed, all that information gets transferred to the transcript system tonight, Thursday night, and it continues into Friday until every file that was worked on throughout the week is updated in the transcript system. This means that the transcripts can update all day throughout Friday. Remember, there are literally hundreds of thousands of returns that are getting updated in the system in a single day, particularly for this week. And this takes many hours, so typically the updates will start at 12 a.m. Eastern Time, and they will continue all the way through the day, and they can usually complete around 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. If your transcript does not happen to update in this batch, then processing wasn't completed this week for you, and it would get pushed into the next batch. Honey, you see any questions there? Anything
Yep. Phantasma Ghost. Hi, if I have a 766, 768 code, can I still run into trouble with the whole processing?
Okay. So, you could possibly win the update. There is a possibility that when the transcripts update, you could see a 570 freeze code. But typically that would appear on your transcript as soon as your return actually posts to the system. Because typically, when the system posts your return to the system, it's going to pick up any flags almost immediately. So, your transcripts are NA, whatever, not available until it hits the system, and then it hits the system, and eventually you open the transcript and there's a bunch of codes there. Typically, when the codes pop, if there was any problems with it, most times, like 99% of the time, when all the codes hit, if there was a problem with your return, that problem code, that 570, 420, any one of those trouble codes would have hit when they first posted your return to the system, because the system typically flags it right away. So if you have the 766, 768, and you have nothing else after it, you are in a firm position on the next update to get an 846 code pretty confidently. So, yes, it's possible to run into trouble, but typically, if there was any trouble, it would have posted with those other codes. Nathan, he appreciated my little ad read. Tiffany says she got an 846 overnight and deposited it at 1 p.m. Yes, I explained this to some people in the comments in some of the videos today, and actually on the community post I put up today, that non-traditional banks like Chime, NetSpend, banks that will post early, say they get notification from the IRS that they're going to be depositing money, they'll make that money available immediately as soon as they know that it's coming. So a lot of people that had a deposit for next week on the 22nd, the IRS already started sending notifications out to those banks that, hey, we're going to be sending this money. So a lot of those early posting non-traditional banks posted the money today already. So good for those people that fell into that category. Yvette's back in the house. Good to hear you for this big tax update. Thank you for being with us every tax season. No problem. I'm glad that everyone has stuck with me. So there is a possibility that when the updates occur on the transcripts tonight, that some people will see a freeze code, like a 570 and likely a 971 notice issue code with it. In that case, we've talked about this before. No refund will be issued until the hold is resolved. Depending on the reason, it can take anywhere from 2 weeks up to many months, depending on how serious the issue is. When the hold is resolved, a 571 release code will appear, and you will get the 846 for the refund that you're going to be getting. Okay, so I see people with the like count. Let's see, where am I at? Last like count I saw someone post was... I missed it. I saw it. It went by. Honey, do you see it?
I think it was 33. Hold on.
33? Yep, there it is. 33 likes? Is that where we're at? My software here is a little slow to update the count, and it appears we have 56 people watching.
Mine says 12.
Oh, 56 people watching. Yeah. Oh, I got 47 likes. 47 is what I got. I just updated. We're close here. We got 8 people that are being stingy with the likes. We're only 153 away from that sweet $200,000 money that 7-Eleven Select promised me. Hey guys, if you're dying to quench your thirst, there's nothing better than ionized hydration from 7-Eleven Select. It's so good. So good. Leave a like if you like to drink water and you really appreciate 7-Eleven Select. Back to the questions. Mrs. Marie, return due date or receive date, whichever is later, April 15th, processing date of February 27th, 23. Okay, so that date, the April 15th, is the close of the tax season. That's a generic date, as is the processing date. That is an internal filing date. So February 27th is the deadline that the system has set to complete the processing of your return. In many cases, in many cases it can be done before that date. And in some cases it will be done after that date. And they often can change that as of date too, if you see the as of date. But those are internal deadlines. Any date that you see on your transcript is always pretty much going to be post-dated. In other words, it's an intended date of action of completion. Corey does not see any new paintings. Oh, wow. They're actually right next to me. I have about 30 next to me. And I didn't put any up. I don't know. I was commissioned to do a painting a few months ago for a family friend, and it took me. I put a lot of effort into that, and I haven't really painted since then. But it was probably the best painting I've ever made. Chucho's gonna buy 7-Eleven Select Water tomorrow. Excellent. Those ad reads are paying off. All right. Let's see. Let me go back into my slides here. So what are some reasons that a return might get flagged for review? These wouldn't be all the reasons, but sometimes a lot of these things can slow a return down. For example, if someone itemized their deductions, a lot of times, especially if it's a very high dollar amount of itemized deductions, the IRS will hold those back for a review. A new dependent being claimed, someone had a child and is claiming a new child that they've never claimed before, a lot of times that will trigger a flag in the system. Recovery rebate and child tax credit doesn't match. Those are from last year. I probably should have deleted those off that thing. This is a slide from last year. If your W-2 wages or 1099 forms or other forms of income are either incomplete or missing, or it doesn't match what the employer reported to the IRS, that can cause a flag. Identity verification needed for the final processing can cause a flag, and any offsets that are on file or debts owed to other agencies, other government agencies. And some friendly reminders about tonight's live stream, as with all the other live streams. Rule number 1 is in the chat. We're going to be nice to each other. We did have some issues last year with some of the streams, with people kind of bullying each other. Belligerence will get you banned. Please remember that my stream software shows me the chats with a 2-minute delay. So between the delay and the sheer number of questions and comments, it can sometimes take me a while to get to some. I can't promise to answer every question, but I do try to every stream. Unless you have an 846 code on your transcript, I really can't tell you exactly when your refund will come. I can provide you with the knowledge of the system that I've had from years of investigation and experience, and give you an idea of why you might be delayed and potential delay times. But the main goal of these streams is to provide answers that maybe the IRS will not or simply cannot show you, and to show you that you are not alone. So, back to some questions. I got Caitlin in the chat helping out with looking through some of these. So, honey, if you happen to see anything that I miss, please let me know. Chucho wants to know, what are the possibilities that someone that did their taxes when Path lifted will get their taxes next week, or do they have to wait 21 days? Possibly if they did their tax like this week, it probably wouldn't happen this week. They wouldn't get their refund next week. It would probably be the week after, if I had to guess. So, for example, Path lifted on the 15th. If they filed their taxes on Monday, they wouldn't be getting their refund this week. That's just too short of a turnover. Those big Path updates that are going to be happening like overnight tonight are the people that have been waiting since like January 23rd, when the IRS first opened, up through about February 2nd or so. So if you filed from the 23rd up through February 2nd, there's a good strong possibility you're going to be seeing an update. And then the people that filed from like the 3rd through, say, the 8th or 9th, if you got lumped in with some of those returns on the back end and they weren't overloaded, you may also see an update as well. Mrs. Marie wants to know the 766 and 768. 766 is a general credit usually used for the child tax credit, and 768 is the earned income tax credit. And it's important to note, a lot of times people will ask, do I get that amount? Do I get that dollar amount back from the credits? What those credits do are they reduce your tax liability. With the case of the earned income credit, anything over that tax liability, you will get the rest of the money back. So if your this is a simple example, but say your tax liability was $1,200 and your earned income tax credit was $5,200. Well, that $5,200 takes away that $1,200, leaves you with $4,000, and they will refund you the $4,000 from that. The child tax credit, last year they made refundable because of COVID. This year, the child tax credit is no longer refundable. So all the child tax credit will do is reduce your tax liability. You will not get the rest of it back. So a lot of people are seeing smaller refunds this year. That is why. They lowered the amount of child tax credit you get, and it's no longer a refundable tax credit. So say you owe $1,200 and your child tax credit is $3,000. The $3,000 will reduce that $1,200 to zero, so now you don't pay a tax on that, but you will not get that $1,800 over, that's left over. That just evaporates away for the child tax credit. Child tax credit, non-refundable. That's why the child tax credit alone, if that's the only credit you claimed, you wouldn't fall under the PATH Act. Earned income credit is refundable. That's why if you claimed earned income credit or additional child tax credit, those two credits are refundable. Those are held for the PATH Act. Caitlin Scott, do you see anything else I'm missing?
Under that, Lisa Johnson said, you said if there was a problem, I would already post on my transcripts before it updates.
Chances are, if there was an issue, it would have popped up on the last update, meaning the last update that you had was when your transcripts became available. So if your transcripts became available and you got a bunch of codes on there and there's no trouble codes, it's a pretty strong sign that you're going to be good to go when the next update comes. If there was a problem, you likely would have seen the problem code on the initial update. And as I said, those trouble codes like 570, 4220, it varies how long they can be on the transcript, but usually at least a couple weeks. Lady du jour 87. Do O5ers always update on Fridays? This is going to lead me to what I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to go to me and Caitlin because why not? So, 98% of the time, with the exception of the past 3 years or so, I've been tracking this, and I have a theory about this. So, O5ers, generally speaking, always update on Friday. There is an exception, and that is the first week of PATH. I've noticed this as a trend the past 3 years, is that when PATH lifts on the 15th, what's been happening is that first PATH update for the dailies, those people with cycle codes that are 01 through 04, the first PATH update usually happens on like Thursday. Or Wednesday. I think last year it might have been a Wednesday. But there are a few 05s that it appears people think they slipped through the cracks and somehow got processed with the dailies. But here's what I've found, and I've been talking to some of these people that were 05s and updated with the dailies when PATH lifted immediately. They didn't have to wait till Friday. It's only that week of PATH. What happened the following year was they were no longer a weekly. They got moved into the daily batch. So they were 05 for like 6 years. All of a sudden, 1 year they're 05, PATH lifts. They process with the dailies, and then the next year their cycle code is no longer 05. Now it's 03 or 02. So what I think is happening is those 05s that are processing with the dailies when PATH lifts, as of that year, they're no longer an 05er. So they're going to get moved into the daily batches going forward, unless something else happens with their return that causes them to get bumped back into weeklies. But from what I've seen, the O5ers that process with the dailies the first week of path lifting, the whole reason they're getting processed is because they are actually no longer an O5er. Yes, they're O5er this year, but they're getting moved into the daily batches, which means in the years to come, they're going to have a different cycle code ending. I hope that makes sense. That's my theory. I can't guarantee that's what it is, but that's the trend I'm seeing. But generally speaking, especially after this week, O5ers are only going to update on Friday. This is for the transcripts. Your transcript will update on Friday. Your Where's My Refund will update on Saturday if you have the 846 code. DV. I filed February 2nd. Look today, my bank account, because I got paid tomorrow, and boom, I see a pending deposit for my federal tax return for the 22nd. Congratulations. Hi, Grace. Glad you could join us. Raw Kicks. How do you get picked for an 05? Different things happen when people file that can cause them to be an 05. If anything that the system, when you first file and the system accepts your return, it runs various checks on the return. And if there's anything at all that thinks it needs extra time to look at, they will group it with the weekly batches because it gives the system longer to complete the processing, since it can only be completed on that. 05 is technically Thursday. The update happens on Friday, but the processing is done on Thursday. So if you're only ever getting work done on a Thursday, it pushes that return back. It gives them longer to work on that return. Whereas dailies, if they're in the daily batch, they're considered low risk, usually fairly simple. Not anything, the system doesn't determine that there's going to be any problems. That can process it fairly quickly. So easiest way I can break it down. It's not like anyone's saying you're a bad person, we're going to put you in the weekly batch. It's just the checks that the system runs itself. Sometimes it's things that happened in previous years that automatically make someone a weekly. We had a situation where we were reviewed for itemized deductions I took 6 years ago, and we've been weekly ever since. Prior to that, we were never weekly. Grace, you filed the 10th. Will you have to wait 21 days? I wouldn't probably expect an update tonight. It may post your return. You may see an update where your return posts, but don't be shocked if there's no refund code on there. Likely it would be at least till next week. Just because the 10th, I'm thinking the cutoff for the first round was probably the 8th or the 9th, so you might have just missed that cutoff. Lisa, thank you very much. Richard wants to know if there will be an update on Where's My Refund. There will be an update for everyone that got the 846 today. So throughout the day today, people were seeing the 846 with a 2/22 deposit date. All those people will wake up tomorrow. If they feel the need to check Where's My Refund, you really don't have to at that point, but if you want to, there will be an update with 2 bars and a 2/22 date. Please, just remember, guys, the transcript, that's the official record of what is happening to your tax account. So even if Where's My Refund malfunctioned and didn't update, if you have an 846 on your transcript, you're getting the money. It doesn't matter what Where's My Refund says. I think some of you might remember 2 years ago, that's what happened, was Where's My Refund was stuck for 4 weeks. But people were getting their refunds in there. Where's My Refund still had no bars. Grace, thank you very much for promoting the channel. Chucho, all pathers are not 05ers. Some pathers are dailies, like the people that saw the update today. If I was going to put a number on it, like a percentage, I would say 80%, probably about 80% of path filers are weeklies. I think that would be an accurate description. What time should we check the transcripts? Okay, let's go back to our timeline slide here. So transcripts will begin updating tonight at midnight Eastern time. And I said this earlier in the stream, but there are literally going to be hundreds of thousands of returns being updated as we go through the day, in the morning into the day. So it takes some time, so they can update. If you check in the morning, say you wake up in the morning and it's like 6, so you check at 6 a.m. and there's no update, don't be afraid that you're not going to get an update. You could check later in the day at 1 o'clock and have a return. So they'll start at midnight. They'll continue throughout the day. Cutoff time, 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. Probably going to be no more updates tomorrow night. Grace wants to know, I'm asking for a friend. Grace, is this asking for a friend, or is this really asking for a friend? Received a 60-day letter review. Is that an audit, and should she worry? No, an audit would be a letter of examination. It would say a letter of examination. A 60-day review letter could be any number of things. It could be identity verification. It could be something that they're looking at with the earnings. Maybe earnings that were reported, that she reported, don't match. When the 21 days is hit and she hasn't seen the information, she can call the IRS. They won't tell her anything before the 21-day period, but they might be able to give her more information about why the letter was sent. And if they need anything, they would have said in the letter if they need anything right away from her, like proof of anything. But if they do need anything, they'll send another letter that says, hey, we need this information. So we're up to 74 people watching. I see that. I'm going to have to refresh my page here to see what we got going on for likes. Let's see. 74 people watching and 62 likes. That's an 11 like differential. We are 138 likes from the goal. So right now, if I don't get any more likes, I'm getting 62,000 bottles of water sent to me by 7 Select, which is, by the way, very delicious water. It quenches your thirst. Oop, I just got lost here. It's so delicious and refreshing. I drink it daily.
You don't.
You can ask my wife, Caitlin. All I do is drink 7-Eleven Select ionized hydration. Keeps me healthy, feeling great. It's so good. Back to the comments. Angel, thank you for your knowledge. No problem. I appreciate you guys joining me. Yvette, will the holiday affect our direct deposit? Yes, for this week, all the direct deposits will be, as far as I'm scheduling them, they will be delayed by 1 day. So, for example, the people that are getting updates tonight, it's Friday, the Friday updates, would normally be a Wednesday direct deposit, but because of the federal holiday, the IRS will schedule them for Thursday, the 23rd. If you have a non-traditional bank, Chime, NetSpend, Walmart MoneyCard, or sometimes even, that posts deposits, direct deposits early, they do early direct deposit, you may see it sooner, but the IRS will actually schedule the date a day later. Okay, so I'm going to go back through some of these questions. Raven wants to know what a 971 code. That is a notice issued code. So they sent a letter. I'm assuming there might be some sort of other code on your return. If not, when it updates, there may be another code on your return for a hold. And the letter issued is in regards to why there is a hold on the return. Chucho wants to know if the transcript system will be clogged out. Yes. Last year, from like 6 till 9:30, 10 a.m., the whole system crashed and no one could check their transcripts because they had hundreds of thousands of Path Act weeklies trying to check their transcript all at once. No one could get a transcript because everyone crashed the system. It's probably going to happen again tomorrow. So be patient. If you can't get in, it's probably because every single person is trying to check it. And just check later in the day. I will say last year what happened with us is I checked early in the morning before people woke up. Like I woke up at like 3:30 just to check. There was no update. I tried again at like 9 a.m. I couldn't get in because everyone was crashing it. Tried again at 10 a.m. Couldn't get in because everyone was crashing it. I checked at 1 p.m. There was the update with the 846 code. Francis. Checked my transcript. I had the 766 and 768 code on Tuesday. If there was going to be an offset, would those codes be on the transcript with the other codes? Likely. It would be. Already, probably, if there was an offset coming, I mean, do you know you would have an offset? I mean, if you're expecting one, then maybe when you get the update, there will be a code that explains that. But typically, that will happen almost right away. John. Sorry if this has been covered. I just tuned in. My return was accepted 123, and I'm an 05er. Should I see an update tomorrow? Awesome YouTube channel. Very likely. John, if you check your transcript and you have all the credit codes and everything, and there's no other codes on there, you might be good for an update tomorrow. I'd feel pretty confident in getting an update. It is possible, if there's any problems, that there could be a 570 for some people, but... What's the 570 code? Well... Let's go back to those holds. Why would someone get flagged for review? Why would there be a 570 code? Maybe they have some itemized deductions. Maybe they claimed a new dependent. Maybe their wages in 1099 forms, other income is missing or incomplete and don't match what was reported. Maybe they need to verify their identity. That's like the best one to have, honestly, is if identity verification, because you can just call the number or even go online and do the identity verification online and get that solved. And then usually within a week or two, it's pushed through and you get your refund. So of all the holds, the most ideal, I always say, is identity verification. Although offsets can be resolved fairly quickly too. Rockix, if I check my transcript at midnight, if it updates at midnight or after, will I have a DD of 222 tomorrow? If it updates with a refund, it will be for 223 next Thursday.
Hun,
Yes.
did you answer Angel's question? Filed on February 4th. Still NA on transcripts. When I see a deposit date, I believe I'm a weekly of a path.
Okay, Angel, February 4th, still NA. So, yeah, you're going to be a weekly at this point. And if you get an update to Friday, tomorrow, you might get an update tomorrow, but it's probably not going to have, if you're still NA, it's probably not going to have a refund on there. It'd probably be the other codes because it's still, because you might have missed, if it's NA at this point, you've probably missed the cutoff for the completion of processing. Meaning it would get, if it's available to you tomorrow and there's no 846 code, it would just mean that next week you would update with the refund. If it's still NA next week, then your return's been resequenced and they'll just keep resequencing it until they get to it. That's another problem that can happen. So hopefully you get some sort of update tomorrow, at least with the transcript being available. And if it's just a bunch of the regular credit codes and stuff, then next week you would hopefully see the refund code. What does 0405 mean? That is the 4th week of the tech cycle and the 5th day of the cycle week. The 5th day of the cycle week is Thursday, meaning your return would only process on a Thursday. The updates go through the transcript system. You see the update on Friday. Grace, back to the question I answered earlier about the friend. She said it was for income verification. So yeah, that can take, unfortunately, those ones can take a while because it's up there, because they're not going to ask the taxpayer for the information. They're going to ask the people that paid the taxpayer. In other words, the employer, or if she had a 1099, the people that sent the 1099s. Those people are the ones that they're going to be asking for information, and they have all the way up until April 15th to submit it to them. So it really depends on how quickly they respond. Kira wants to know, can child support take your additional child tax credit and earned income credit? They can. Depends on how delinquent it is. If it's been reported to the IRS as delinquent, they can take it. If it hasn't been reported yet, then the person would get the refund.
Miss Marie in the super chat. Thanks, Miss Marie.
All right. Mrs. Marie, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Did you answer, forgive me for this pronunciation, Johnswa Dominique?
If it said I started processing on February 13th, it will be cleared by tomorrow. I'm assuming you're referring to the processing date on your transcript. The processing date, don't read too much into. They can move that back and forth. What matters is the codes that are on there underneath. If there's any trouble codes, 570, 971, those are trouble codes. If it's just the good codes, 766, 768, 806, and there's no other codes, then you might see it clear tomorrow. It's less about that processing date and more about the other codes that are on the transcript. I also would like to thank today's secondary sponsor of the stream, Signature Select Soleil. I recommend the berry flavor. It's delicious. It's crisp and sweet, and it's the perfect companion to the 7-Eleven Select ionized hydration. It's so good. Thank you, Signature Select Soleil, for sponsoring this live stream. We greatly appreciate you. All right. Desiree. Guys, I'm gonna be going back and forth, so don't panic if I don't get to your question. I'll go back. Caitlin's monitoring the chat as well, so I'm gonna get to what I can. Just remember, there is a delay on the chat when I see on my streaming software. Okay, so Desiree said, I used TurboTax and filed the 10th, was accepted the 17th, received cycle code 0505 and a trans date of 220. Path Act is yet to update. With the transcript 2.3, I no longer have access. Ooh. When you say you ordered the transcript, did you do it online or did you call over the phone? If you are trying to check your transcript over the phone, then there is no way to really know for sure what's on the transcript. And if you can't view your transcript online, there's no way to look at the codes in real time. So what you're left with is the "Where's my refund?" But I'm assuming you say you have a cycle code, so you could have checked it online.
She says she ordered it through the mail.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Yeah, the one you order through the mail, Desiree, is going to be an incomplete transcript at this point. You're not going to see anything that's going to tell you. In fact, if your transcript, you can't see it now, but if it was to update tonight with the refund issue code, you'll get a transcript that won't have it, and you'll probably already have your refund by the time it comes in. I will say, if you're going to get an update, you could have updated today, or maybe it would update tomorrow, which means check the Where's My Refund on Saturday. I mean, you can cross your fingers and hopefully, if your Where's My Refund updates on Saturday, that means your transcript had updated today. The only other thing you can do is, I mean, it's a weekend. The IRS isn't going to be working. I was going to say you could try to call them to see if you can get access to your transcripts, if they can help you unlock the account. However, it's not going to matter. If you're a part of this batch that gets processed, you're going to see, you can just check Where's My Refund on Saturday, and if you have a refund on there, like the 2 bars, it's pointless, really.
Evan super chat.
Yep. Says 501 766 768. No other update. Okay, so I'm assuming that's 150. That's the tax return filed. The 2 766s are credits, child tax credit. 768. No other update. If those popped last week or the week before, and there's no other codes on there, good chance you might see an update tonight when the system updates again. And we appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Grace, Caitlin, nice to see you in the live. Thank you. Yes. My beautiful wife helping me with the chat. Blue Elvis, 846 for 222. Is it possible it could go through sooner? It depends on if you have a non-traditional bank or not. Okay, some things that can play an effect on... I should have made a slide for this. Silly me. Oh well, I wish I made a slide for this. But things that will affect when the actual deposit... you get the 846 code, your Where's My Refund updates, you're in good shape. If you get, say you have Chime, NetSpend, Walmart Money Card, Green Dot... A lot of those non-traditional banks will post the refunds sooner than the date. If you have a traditional bank, Wells Fargo, Capital One, Bank of America, those banks typically will post on the day the IRS designates. So you would get it on the 22nd. Another thing that can throw a wrench into it is if you didn't pay your fees up front and you paid your fees through your tax preparer, say you did TurboTax and paid your fees out of the refund. That refund gets routed through the Santa Barbara Bank and Trust Bank, a third-party bank, and then they're the ones that send you the refund. So the IRS will give the money to that third-party bank. In the case of like TurboTax, it's Santa Barbara Bank and Trust, and then they pay you. Also, guys, if you did pay your fees out of your refund through like TurboTax, for example, I don't know if you guys know, but you can check to see if their third-party bank got the refund. I'm going to share my screen with you here. So this is the Santa Barbara Bank and Trust website, and you would go to taxpayers. They tell you to check the IRS website, and you can check with them. So once you know that the IRS has sent your refund, you can do login at TBG. You can put in your social security number, put in how much your federal refund is for. So the same information you would put into Where's My Refund is what you would put into this. Click the I'm Not a Robot, and then they will tell you when you log in if they've gotten your money or not.
Did you see Chucho Castro's question? When will the next batch party be? And can you give examples of offsets?
Yes, Chucho. Next batch party will likely be next Thursday. We'll do a party for the people that are planning on updates next week. I'm assuming the people that got updates this week are going to ditch me and and fall off. But, we'll do it for everyone else that comes along. We'll keep it going and answering those questions for those people. Examples of offsets would be if people were delinquent on student loan debt, if people owed child support that was reported to the IRS as delinquent. Sometimes I've heard of people having like really old credit card debt reported. If it's like a high enough dollar amount, the collection agencies report it to the IRS. I've heard that happen before too. And then what would happen would be the IRS would take whatever is owed on those debts, pay it out of the refund, and send the rest if there's any left. That would all be reflected in the transcript. There would be like an offset code and the dollar amount that they took out of the refund. I appreciate not being ditched. You know who else appreciates not being ditched? 7-Eleven Select ionized hydration water. What a great brand of water. So refreshing. Once again, if we can get to 200 likes, I'm going to get a $200,000 contract with 7-Eleven Select.
Stop. All right. Let's segue into some more questions.
That's my wife keeping me in line.
All right. Grace Harris, if I verified last year, would I need to repeat and verify this year?
Hopefully not. Hopefully it was just a one-time thing. Grace, if you get, hopefully you'll get an update, and everything will be good for you. If you already verified, it's unlikely to have to do it multiple years in a row. Have I heard of it happening? I have, but it's rare. Uh, 704 Rec. What if it says still being processed after 21 days? Well, don't forget, because of the PATH Act, it's going to be 21 days on Where's My Refund. It's going to be still being processed for a long time for a lot of the PATH Act people, but that will change this week. That being said, if you were to call the IRS, what they would tell you is your 21 days does not start until PATH Act is lifted. I mean, I've heard them say that to people. I've heard of people had the customer rep say that to them. Technically, it's supposed to be 21 days from when it was accepted, as long as the IRS was open. So if you filed on the 13th and it was accepted in the test batch, your 21 days wouldn't have started until January 23rd. But the reps would say it really didn't start if you fell under PATH Act. It really wouldn't start until PATH Act was lifted, meaning your 21 days wouldn't be up until the first week in March. But hopefully it's not going to be an issue, because hopefully you'd be a part of one of the either this week's batch or next week's batch, and you would see an update to the transcripts. Yvette loves the way I love Caitlin.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm very lucky.
Number 23, Goat James. Finally got a date on my transcript of February 23rd. That is awesome. That is great news. I love seeing everyone getting their refund updates. And when I like to celebrate people getting their refund updates, nothing is better to celebrate with than Signature Select Soleil sparkling water. Especially berry flavor. It's great. And a perfect compliment to 7-Eleven Select. Wow. A lot of selects and the brands that are sponsoring me today. 7-Eleven Select, ionized hydration. So good. Congratulations for real, though. Latrice says, not going anywhere. You keep us updated every year. I do my best. Try to stay up to date on what's going on. Nathan wants to know if I know anything about how state returns work. Every state's different. I know how Massachusetts works because that's where we live, is in Massachusetts. But every state is a little different. Every state's filing system is a little bit different. I do know that they do have contact with the IRS. But I'm always willing to look into stuff for people if they're having a problem. But George, got my update. Yvette's got to get some of that water. It looks like my my pitches are working pretty well. They don't update 3 to 6 a.m. The 3 to 6 a.m. is for Where's My Refund. The Where's My Refund tool updates from 3 to 6 a.m. every day, except for, those 05 weekly people. That will update on Saturday. The transcripts, when the transcripts update, it starts at midnight and carries on throughout the day. And the reason it takes so long for them to update the transcript system is because quite literally there are hundreds of thousands of returns with return information being transferred over to that transfer system. If you want to know what's the difference between the Where's My Refund update and the transcript update, the only thing that's being updated on the Where's My Refund is whether or not someone is actually getting their refund. The transcript update involves them literally transferring every bit of information from your return to the transcript system. So it takes a lot longer. I mean, it's a computer doing it. It doesn't take, super long. But when you have hundreds of thousands of returns at the same time, it takes longer. All right. Just going through some of these questions here. Caitlin, do you see anything I missed? Hello? Okay.
Yep.
Is there anything I missed, or do I have to keep on doing ad reads for
Nope. No, hold on.
Signature Select Soleil?
No, I'll find something. I think you already answered Angel. I'm not sure if they saw you. It says filed the 4th. When should I see a deposit on a Pather? Thanks. I think we answered that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, Angel, the 4th. You filed the 4th. It's borderline, right? So I don't know if I asked you if you had. Let me go back to the questions and see if you mentioned the transcript. Did you mention the transcript? It's still NA. Yeah, because you're still NA on transcripts, Angel. It's if you could see an update, you're not going to see a deposit. Probably not next week. If anything, you would see an update on the transcript next week with a deposit. So you might see you'll see your transcripts. Excuse me. You'd see your transcripts update tomorrow, maybe potentially with the codes, except for the 846 code. And then next week, if everything was okay, you'd get the 846 code next week, which means would set you up with a deposit for. Let me look at my calendar. March 1st. So unlikely to be in the 223 group if you're still NA. More likely that you would be in the March 1st group. I hope you're still here to have that question answered and you stuck around. Christopher says, my state may be verified this year.
Did you see Chucho Castro, if a creditor?
Yeah, if they want your... Yeah, so basically what would happen is... what's happened what I've heard from people is like they had a court date that they never showed up to. So they got like what's called a default, meaning they lose the court case to the credit card company. So then they have a right to petition the IRS to get their refund, to pay that fee, to pay that fine, or pay that money that's owed. So. Okay. Nathan, when I check my return on Pennsylvania's page, it says it's waiting for a review and could take 12 to 16 weeks. Ouch. Yeah, see, so in Massachusetts, if it's being reviewed, even on the, you can go on the, like on the website, see if there's a letter related to that, because we had this happen to us last year where they were reviewing something, because last year we had a crazy amount of like 1099s, because I do a bunch of gig work and stuff, so I had a bunch of 1099s last year, and the state wanted me to submit like all my documentation. So I was checking my state portal when I noticed it got to be about, because usually Massachusetts is pretty quick, 3 to 4 weeks they'll send you a refund. When it got to be about 6 weeks, I was like, something's not right. So I checked the state portal, and there was a letter in there saying they needed verification, which I could do online. So I immediately just uploaded all my documents to them, and within like 3 days they released my refund. So if you should see if there's a letter in there that tells you what they're reviewing, and if there's anything that you can do to speed it up. How would you know if there is an error if it had no update on the transcript, or where's my refund? Well, you would know there's an error because it would show on the transcript. There would be a freeze code on the transcript. So when the transcript updated, if there was something wrong, there would be a freeze code on it. Where's my refund? You wouldn't necessarily know, other than the fact that the bars would disappear and you would get the still processing messages, and then eventually you would get there's a delay in processing message. Danny wants to know, does 7-Eleven sell ice chips or crushed ice? They do have crushed ice in the fountains, but I would steer away from getting the ice. And what I would get would be 7-Eleven Select Ionized Hydration Water. I mean, it's better than Smart Water. I mean, Smart Water's a joke, everybody. Drink the 7-Eleven Select Ionized. So good. Raheem, you just skipped me. Raheem, I'm going back and forth with everybody, so let me see if I can find your
What did
question.
These codes mean? I think that was his question.
806-7678-15. 150 is your return posted to the system. 806 is the withholding amount. That's how much your employer withheld from your check every week. That's the total that was withheld. And the 678. Let me check the manual. Bear with me. Six, 7, 8. Do you mean 768? You must mean 768. Raheem, before I go any further with this, tell me you mean 768. Because if it's 768, that's just the earned income credit.
He says yes, 768.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I figured. He just reversed the things. Yeah, that's the earned income credit. You're good. Those are all good codes. There's no problems with those codes. That's earned income credit, earned income tax credit. Or if you didn't qualify for earned income credit, you might have qualified for additional child tax credit. They use it for that one too. But it's a credit. It's not anything bad. a new perspective. I got an 846 code 222 on my transcript. Awesome. Congratulations. Queen's got no new codes. Hey, could update tonight. That's what we're here for. It's probably gonna. Well, I don't want to guarantee it, but it could update tonight. There we go. That's right. Hey, Caitlin, do you have a update on our like count?
I have 73, but I don't think that's updated.
73?
Refresh it.
And we have 81 people watching? 85 people watching?
It must be more than that because...
87. All right, we at least have more likes than people watching right now, so miraculous.
Okay.
We're getting up there. We're 115 away. Oh, no problem. File 2.3. Is that too late for the first batch? It's not too late if you say last week, if you saw your transcripts. If your transcripts have been available, in other words, that they don't say NA, then it's not too late. There is a possibility you could see an 846 update. If they've still been NA, not available, then when they update tonight, you might get an update where they're available to you, but you might not have a refund code yet. Filed. 124. Says still processing. Text topic 152. What does that mean? Been 23 days. Transcripts still blank. Ooh. Okay, so. I have some slides for that too. I did have slides for that. Where'd it go? All right, what does tax topic 152 mean? I don't want to block my page here. Tax topic 152 is generic information about how your tax return, your tax refund is going to be given to you, whether by direct deposit, paper check. It's general information about the refund itself. It doesn't really tell you about what's going on with the processing of your return. It tells you no information, good or bad. The way you can tell is by getting your transcript. In your case, you said you cannot get your transcript. It's still NA. They're still blank. What could happen is that tonight, when the transcripts update, you may see an update where they become available to you. However, because they've been blank all this time, you might not see a refund code yet, because they haven't actually, even though it posted to the system this week, they didn't finish processing it this week. So it would get pushed back until next week. Sometimes, in rare cases, it does happen. I know there's probably people in the chat that can tell you about it. It happened to them last year. They'll just keep pushing it back week after week after week too. In that case, they just keep resequencing returns that they don't get to, and it just keeps on happening over and over and over again. You just hope that that doesn't happen to you. You hope that this week it becomes available to you. Next week you get the refund update.
Rock Kicks has asked a couple of times, so
Okay.
I'm just trying to get to everybody. How likely are the odds with all three good codes that my transcript wouldn't update tomorrow if I was an early filer and filed on January 11th?
How likely? I would say it's pretty likely. Well, first off, it's very likely you're going to get an update of some sort. and I would put it at like 90% that you're going to get a refund update. 10%, if there's an issue, it might pop up tomorrow. But more than likely, if there was an issue, it would have popped up when it first updated for you. What the cycle code means is what you're looking for in the cycle code is that last 2 digits, the 05. It means you're a weekly processor. It means the IRS is only ever going to be working on the returns with 05s. They're only ever going to finish that processing on a Thursday. And then when they finish that processing on Thursday, it gets updated in the system on Friday. So if you have an 05, you'd only ever see updates to your transcripts on Fridays, and you'd only ever see where's my refund updates on a Saturday. Except, of course, I mentioned the first week in the path updates, there's been a few people that have 05s that got changed to dailies, 01 through 04. They just don't know it yet. They were 05 1 year, and then they got like a Wednesday or a Thursday update miraculously, and then the next year they're no longer in 05. But in like almost every case, you're only ever going to see an update on your transcripts on Friday, and a Saturday, where's my refund update? Paige wants to know, does the transcript update at midnight or after 5 a.m.? I will tell you that in real time, as of for sure information, last night they started updating at midnight. So the transcripts will begin updating at midnight, and they will continue throughout the day, all the way until about 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. So if you don't have an update at midnight or 4 or 5 a.m. or 9 a.m., don't worry too much. There could be an update for you later in the day. Just remember they have literally hundreds of thousands of returns of information that they're transferring from their systems into the transcript system. So that's an all-day affair. And don't be too surprised if, much like last year, where there are so many people waiting for the update to their transcripts, that the system crashes. Because it happened last year. And while you're waiting for your transcripts to update, what a better time than to drink some 7-Eleven Select ionized hydration water. It is so good and refreshing. Perfect whether it's a hot summer's day or a cold winter's day. It will leave you feeling hydrated and happy and healthy. And it's really lucky too. Like, I find that on a Thursday night when I'm doing a live stream, if I'm drinking a 7-Eleven Select hydration, ionized hydration, I wake up on Friday and I have an 846 code on my transcript.
Wow. Miraculous.
Ostinua. Ostinua is how my name is pronounced.
She had a question a little bit back.
Okay. Let's go back. Okay, guys, we're going back in time. Well, I'm pretty far back in the chat. I don't see it.
So will 0405, 0505, 0605 update all at once or in batches?
Oh, okay. So, the most likely updates would be the 0405s and 0505s this week for this big batch, and then 0605s would probably start next week. It really depends on where. There's like a cutoff. So the IRS processes returns all week, and then for those 05 batches, they finalize the processing on Thursday. So what determines whether or not that person, like say, just for example, say I was going to have a return. I submitted my return, and my cycle code was 0505. The IRS is working on all these returns, and my return comes up. Now, if they finished my return before the cutoff on Wednesday to finalize on Thursday, then I would see the update on Friday. But if they didn't get to my particular return, the return that I filed on that Wednesday, then when they update the systems on Thursday, I wouldn't be in that batch because they didn't get to mine yet, which means I would have to wait another week. So what determines whether or not, it's not necessarily the 0405 or 0505, it's really whether or not your particular return came up in that batch, and did they have time to get through it by that cutoff on Wednesday, so that they can finish it and process it, complete the processing on Thursday. I hope that makes sense. Is code 150 good? Yeah, it means your return's in the system. Literally what that means is they have your return and they input it into the system. That's what 150 means.
Your audio's cutting out, I guess.
Did you hear that?
A little bit. Someone in the chat was saying your audio's cutting out. And my YouTube froze.
I received a tax return through Credit Karma. Is that considered a main bank? No, it is not. It's not considered a traditional bank. And because you got the advance, it's going to be routed through the TPG, the Santa Barbara Bank and Trust, which I talked about a little bit earlier. So when you get your refund date, the IRS will send, you signed up for a tax refund advance. So what happens is the money that you're going to get for your refund will be routed through Santa Barbara Bank and Trust, which is TPG Bank. So on the day, usually the day before TPG gets the refund. So like say you get a date for the 23rd, which is next Thursday. The IRS says you're going to get your refund on the 23rd. On like the 22nd, the IRS will send the money to TPG. You can actually check the TPG page and see if they got your money yet. You can go to the login for taxpayers, and then you can say check with TPG, log in, and you put in the same information that you would put in for the where's my refund, and it will tell you whether or not they've gotten your money yet. So they usually get it the day before, and then on the day of your deposit, they send it to your Credit Karma card. So it's, if you have a Credit Karma card, you're not going to get it early. Unfortunately, there's no way to get it early with if you've got the refund advance, because it goes through the TPG bank first.
Did you see the Marisa Evans comment? I have a 766 twice, then 768 processing time, 213 filed, 123.
Okay. I think I covered one of her comments earlier, but did she do it again? I'm gonna find her.
I think so. Let me see.
I see it. Yep. So you got two different credits that you used. 766 is a generic credit to your account, like child tax credit, or I'm not sure what credits you claimed on your tax return, but the two 766s are two different credits that were claimed on your tax refund, along with the 768, which would be the earned income tax credit. Life with Queen got an 846 on the transcript for 222. Direct deposited through Cash App. Will it be here before the weekend? I have seen, so far this year, I've seen a mix of people getting their Cash App direct deposits early. There's been a mix of people that get it the day of and like a day or two before. What's throwing it off this week to know whether or not you might get it early is the fact that Monday is a federal holiday. It's President's Day, so because of the holiday, you don't want to count on getting it early. It's throwing a lot of things off, but you might get it early. There was actually people with Chime that already got their 222 deposits today because the IRS, they didn't send the money yet, but they notified them that they would be sending the money. Yvette wants to know, when you get an advance, does that mean you get a refund? Well, the advance is just based on the refund they're projecting you're going to get. It doesn't guarantee you're getting the refund. You could get the advance, meaning you got half the refund, and then the IRS could be processing your return and find a problem, and you'd have to wait for that refund. So just because you got the advance, that doesn't guarantee the refund's coming. Chucho wants to know if I'm going to make a video soon. Chucho, I plan on making a video probably on Saturday when Where's My Refund updates for all the weekly batch filers. So I know that the transcripts are going to update tomorrow. I'm going to take like a mental day from video making tomorrow. And then on Saturday, because I'm positive that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of Where's My Refund updates, I will make a update about the Where's My Refund on Saturday. Kano 954, processing 213, cycle ending 05. No updates, filed 123, accepted 124. Hopefully you will see an update in this batch. I stimulate minds. My taxes was accepted the 19th. Will I be in the first batch? Can't make any promises, but we can hope. I'd be curious if you have access to your transcripts to see if there have been any codes. Chucho, it's time for a live read. I am getting low. Do I have to run to the supply for more ionized hydration? Well, it's time for that time of night when Dana has to quench his thirst. And when I quench my thirst, there are very few things that I enjoy more than Signature Select Soleil. Crisp and refreshing sparkling water.
Are you stealing my sparkling water?
Just for this bit.
This ongoing bit that everyone loves. Okay.
I told you it would be a hit.
Yep. All right. So Laura Flower, if we have Chime, they do it early. Yeah, you were saying that Chime is not a traditional bank, so it hits early. Yeah,
non-traditional banks, NTBs, things like Chime will typically do it early.
She also asked, when does the batch go up? Midnight?
The beginning at midnight, the batches will start, and they will continue throughout the day. So just remember, they're transferring hundreds of thousands of pages of data from returns. Well, millions of pages of data, but hundreds of thousands of returns. They start Thursday night for the weekly batch update, and it continues through the day Thursday. So I've said many times, don't be too concerned if you wake up in the morning and you were expecting an update and you don't have one yet. It can still update later in the day. Also, don't be too freaked out because I'm pretty sure that the system's going to crash tomorrow. It crashed last year for the first big update. It's probably going to crash tomorrow. I don't have much faith in the IRS fixing glitches like what happened last year.
India Nelson, how do I know if mine was accepted?
If it was accepted or approved. If it was accepted, you would see at least that it was processing in the Where's My Refund system. As far as approved, if you can check your transcripts, you'd see it reflected in the transcript. You'd also, the day after the transcripts update, you would see it reflected in Where's My Refund.
Raheem, what codes am I looking for on my transcript to know if my taxes are being sent out?
846. The only way you're getting a refund is if you have the 846 code. If you check your transcript and you see 846, that is how you know. Oh, 0605 might have missed the cutoff. No guarantees that 0605 will see an update tonight. You may. No guarantees. I'm more confident about the 0405s and 0505s. I'm a little less confident about 0605s. It really depends on how many they were able to get to this week when Path lifted.
Danny Barry.
So does it stop processing once it says Path, keep processing, or not release until Path recycles into the system so they can refresh it? It stops processing when it's done. It starts processing. All those Path returns are held for however long until Path lifts, and then the system does the processing on those returns. This is why sometimes there could be a problem and you wouldn't know until after Path lifts, because they hold those returns. They always say your return is processing. It's actually being held in a queue. And then it processes once Path lifts. The system can process, many, many returns in a day. So it doesn't really take that long for them to process a lot of returns. What takes them forever is like updating it and letting you know. But the best way to look at it is that it's not actually processing until Path lifts. So Path lifted on Wednesday. All those people that were dailies, 03s, 04s, 02s, 01s, all those daily people, all the ones they could get to, processed on Wednesday when it lifted. Today they got the update. All the weekly people that they could get up to got processed all day, starting last night, all day today. And now, starting tonight, they'll update the transcript system for those people.
Did you see Unapologetically You?
What if everything was accepted with a date and you can't access Where's My Refund with a deposit? You can't access Where's My Refund? Is it telling you there's just no information, or is it telling you it doesn't match? Have you tried accessing the transcripts? I mean,
they say it's states not found.
States not found. Interesting. So, that makes me wonder if it was even actually accepted by the IRS. Did you get any notification that it was even accepted? From, whoever you filed with? Because as soon as it's accepted, you should have access to it.
I've completed through TurboTax, they say.
Interesting.
Yes, I've received emails. Yeah,
I just put that one up. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. So what I would do is go into your TurboTax software and see what the accepted. There's a section. Let me log into my TurboTax. There's a section where you can actually see when the IRS claims when it was claimed that the IRS accepted it. It will give you a date and a time. I just don't want to give my personal information out, so I'm going to log in. And if I can get to that page, I'm going to share the screen. But there is a section in TurboTax where you can look and see when they accepted it.
They say the deposit date was 2/13 for deposit, yet I see no deposit. And then they say 1/24.
Yeah, that's just a generic date from TurboTax that they give based on when you actually filed. So I'm assuming you say the 2/13 date. You're saying that's what TurboTax said, not what the IRS said, because you said you can't get into the where's my refund. So I'm just pulling up my TurboTax here to see the section where the filing, the e-filing stuff is. Okay. So I'm gonna share this screen here. So this is the if you log into TurboTax and you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the home page, you'll see in the bottom corner there is a received by TurboTax date, and then there is a received by the IRS date, and then there's a when it was actually accepted. So it gives you the date and the time it was actually accepted by the IRS. So just you want to double check and make sure that there is a date and time there, because if it, then it would mean it was never even accepted. If it does say it was accepted, then something's going on when you're typing into where's my refund. The information you're typing isn't matching. Maybe it's the dollar amount of the refund. Maybe it's your filing status. Something isn't matching what TurboTax reported to them. That's the best I can do for to deal with that one. Let's move on to some other. Yes and no said filed 126 0505. Good chance of transcript update. Yes, very good chance. Very good chance. Especially if you've already seen your transcripts become available over the past 2 weeks. It's more likely you're going to have a good update tonight. Britt Pratt, my code is showing 0505. Dates say 2020-23, 415. Okay, the 2020 generic date. It's a generic deadline date that the system sets for itself, and the 415 is the date, the closing date of the tax season. Where's my refund will show the path message until it updates with the refund, so don't worry too much about that. Hopefully, you must have filed probably end of January, I'm assuming, if you have an 0505. So you'll probably be in this batch of updates, hopefully, fingers crossed. If you have other codes on there that don't include like a 570. I have an 846 code for 215. When should I see that? You should have seen it already. Although if you have an 0605 cycle number, I don't think you would have an 846 on your transcript yet. You probably wouldn't even see that until today, or I mean tomorrow. So a little confused by that. Tomorrow. So the thing is, Monday is a holiday. So when the transcript updates, so the people that updated today, last night into today, those people got the Wednesday deposit. They normally would have been a Tuesday deposit, but because of the holiday, it got pushed to Wednesday. So if you were to update tomorrow, that for a refund next week, then it would be on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Just for this one update, it would be on a Thursday because of the holiday. After this week, when it updates on Friday, it will be every Wednesday. Yes and no updated, so I'm assuming that's about the codes I was talking about. That's good. Good news. I always file after 215. I've never seen this path act before. I want to make a video where I talk about the IRS to just stop people from filing before Path Act is lifted, and then there won't be this problem where people, worry for like three to 4 weeks about whether they're getting their refund or not because the IRS can't do anything with their returns. Corey, is this true? We have 105 likes. I haven't updated in a while. Are we almost halfway to the target?
Oh boy.
Oh, we're at 106. When I get to 106 likes, let me tell you, there's nothing better than celebrating with 106 likes than having a nice sip of ionized hydration from 7-Eleven Select. It's delicious. Down to the last sip. Thank you, Corey, for getting everyone to hit that like button. India 0705 last year will be the same this year. It will likely be, it'll be an 05, probably. 0705? I'm not sure when you filed. It really depends on when you filed and when the IRS accepted it. As to when they assigned that week part, the 07 part. But generally the 05 stays the same. Yes, if you have Chime, you could get it early next week. Chime is one of the banks that posts early. All right, going back in time through some of these comments that I may have missed. Caitlin, please help me out here too if you see anything that I might have missed. I do see that Yvette said we'll get plenty of views next week when the refunds results don't appear on those transcripts. Yeah, there's going to be some that get left out. But there are going to be... You'll see. Tomorrow there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, I got my transcript updated. That's going to be good news.
Did you see CJ's question?
CJ.
Path filer here.
Do you have a time? Give me a time.
I can't see a time.
You can't see a time?
No.
You don't get a time?
No.
Oh, man. That stinks.
I know. I'll just read the question. Hi, Path filer here. Already have codes 766 and 768. I do owe a few hundred in back taxes, but my return is a lot more than that. Uh-oh. Hold on. I just lost. All right. Will that cause a delay, and if so, how long?
Okay, you know what? Now that you're reading that comment, I do think I had seen it. I did. Okay, it can cause a delay, but usually not for more than a week or two. But sometimes they just solve it. If it's been reported, in other words, when they match it up in the system, they would see that there's like a mismatch in what was owed. There would be a notation in your tax account saying you owed X amount. So what would happen is a lot of times, because it's the IRS directly, you're saying it's back taxes. As long as it's not the state. If it's the state, it could take a little bit longer to sort it out. But if it's the IRS that are back taxes are owed, they can usually just solve that fairly quickly because it's like interdepartmental. So they can usually just offset it, take off the amount that's owed, and push along the rest. It's usually, if it's a delay, it's not more than like a week because it's from within the IRS. If it's a different organization, like say you owed state back taxes, well then it turns into, did the state report it to the IRS? If they did report it, how long is it going to take them to sort out? There's no way of saying that for sure. Ooh. Ow.
You alright?
I just kicked the table and hurt my knee. I need something.
No.
Oh, look at this. Soleil, Signature Select Soleil, berry flavor. Suddenly my knee pain is gone. Look at that. So good.
You done?
Maybe.
Oh, goodness.
Well, we got about 13 minutes left in this stream, so let's rapid fire. We got to rapid fire through some of these questions, so help me out, honey.
Raheem, what does this mean, return due date or return receive date? Which is later? April 15th, 2023 or February 20, 2023? Raheem had a few questions.
Okay, so the return due date or the return receive date, whichever is later, that's just the close of the tax season. The February 20th is like the processing date. That's like the internal deadline that they want to finish the processing of your return by. Doesn't necessarily mean it will be done by then if there's any issues that are holding it up. But traditionally, if there's no problems with your return, it will be completed by that date. You really can't read too much into that date. Like I said, it's always going to be those 846 or 570. That's really what's going to help you determine when you're going to get your refund. So just stay patient. Hopefully tonight you will see an 846 code for many of you. Many of you are going to see an 846 code. And I'm going to get a flood of comments tomorrow, and I'm going to be very excited for you all. I would much rather see a flood of 846 codes than sad faces with 570 codes or no updates at all. So I'm going to stay positive and say 90% of the people that have been watching the video tonight are going to get the 846 refund issued code for 2/23, meaning they will get a where's my refund update on Saturday for 2/23 as well. Why am I sharing this screen? That's not what I wanted to share. Corey, have a good night. Ruth filed with H&R Block. Will I receive tomorrow? Hopefully. I'm not sure what the date you filed was, but if you were an early filer, there's going to be a lot of early filers getting updates tomorrow. And let me tell you guys, there's nothing better to celebrate getting an 846 code on a transcript than stopping by 7-Eleven and grabbing an ionized hydration 7-Eleven Select water. It is so good and refreshing. I love it. I know you all love it. Get down there as soon as you can. Early filing, the IRS considers early filers people that filed before they opened for the tax season, which was January 23rd, all the way up through about February 2nd. Those are technically early filers. But it's not just those early filers that will update. I assume I'm thinking there's gonna be some February 3rds, February 4ths, February 5th and 6th might be pushing it, but late, very late. You can always go back in time and watch the rest of the stream. You know what I did? I'm so mad at myself. I should have been more in tune with the music that's been playing. I've been playing the same music for like 2 hours. I didn't even realize it. Sorry, guys. I'm torturing you with the same song over and over and over again. Yes. It is always nice to show support for the companies that sponsor my great live streams. Companies like Signature Select Soleil.
Oh my gosh.
They have many flavors available, like berry, lemon, blood orange. Always sweet and refreshing. Not a single calorie in this drink. So good.
Yeah, if we were sponsored, that'd be great.
7-Eleven. Signature Select. I'm out here. I'm here. I'm available. Will I be streaming tomorrow? Unlikely. I'm probably going to take tomorrow off. Last year I was doing the double streams and I got really, really burnt out about a month in. I was doing Thursdays for the transcript updates, and then I was doing Fridays for the Where's My Refund updates, and I got really burnt out. So I think I'm going to do the transcript update. Maybe I'll take a poll whether people would prefer me to do the transcript updates or the Where's My Refund update batch parties. But this week I knew this would be an exciting time for everybody. Britt, will the transcripts and Where's My Refund update tomorrow night and Saturday night for the codes? The transcripts will update overnight tonight, all day tomorrow. And then Saturday morning will be the Where's My Refund update for the people that got the 846 code. Oh, Katie's come along for the party. She's been watching the videos, commenting and asking questions a lot. She got her 846 today.
Just cut out.
What's 570? That is a hold code. You're not seeing that on your transcript, I hope. Ooh. I do have videos. Guys, the stream's going to be ending in 11 minutes, so I'm obviously not going to get to every single question tonight, but there are plenty of videos on my tax resource video playlist that can pretty much answer a lot of those questions that you might have. I organized it for the ease of people. Let me go to my playlists here and I'll share it with you guys. So if you were to go to the DS Entertainment Network YouTube channel, you can go down to the playlists and you'll see my created playlists. And if you go to the tax resource playlist, you'll see I have 53 videos available. That is over 10 years of tax videos I've been making. And yes, there is a 570 video there. There's all sorts of videos there. Why the Where's My Refund bars disappear. Just about the only video that's not in that playlist would be any sorts of sponsors I've done, like 7-Eleven Select ionized hydration water. Be sure to grab it. It will keep you hydrated and feeling fresh. And yeah, so there's all sorts of answers to those sort of questions, but 570 is a freeze code. Hopefully that's not really what you were seeing on your transcript, because there could be a delay. Oh, here we go. We're telling jokes. No, we got we got cheesy jokes now. We got cheesy jokes. Indeed, 846. is the finalization. Your refund is approved. It will be sent on the date that's on that 846. Christopher, my federal just dropped. All right, nice. And you said your transcript hadn't even updated. I bet you it's going to update. You'll see if you check it tomorrow. There's probably an update, and you must have one of those banks that does early posting. That is going to be my guess. Whew. Not seeing the 570. That's a relief. All right, guys. I am going to. I'm going to dip out. It's getting late. Caitlin has. She's exhausted. She's been up all day too. But I am so happy that you all joined us tonight. One final reminder to you all that if you're feeling down and sad that you haven't quite updated yet, one thing that can always be there for you is Signature Select Soleil. Really, I hope everyone is going to have a good night. Enjoy your sleep. When you check tomorrow, I hope you all find some updates. Those that already got their updates today, I'm happy for you, and hopefully that we get our update. I hope we get our update tomorrow too. So I hope we all get updates tomorrow. No stream tomorrow, but I will post a video Saturday about the Where's My Refund updates that occur on Saturday. Until then, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.